Hello, welcome to HoboRec and another Q&A session. Today we're going to talk about hearing loss, guitar feedbacks, and some other cool stuff. So let's get into it. Just like in my recent Q&A, I'm in Berlin again. So if any of you guys watching this are from Berlin, hit me up if you want to have a beer or something. I'd be happy to hang out with any people with similar interests. So this week I'm helping my girlfriend to move into her new flat. It's still pretty empty, so I apologize for the reverberant sound. I hope you will manage anyways. Let's see what we have here. Do you end up using it more on tracks rather than on a full mix or both? This question was asked in the video about the Gullfoss EQ. I actually used it a little bit here and there. I think it works best in moderate settings and not letting it do too much of correction. I usually work with buses, so I group my instrument to buses and then I use the Gullfoss EQ on there. And a couple of times I also use it on the master bus. So I would say just try and see what works best. Did you use noise reduction on the tape? Nope, no noise reduction. Usually I don't think it's needed this was drum tracks and it was not all 24 tracks of the machine. So the drums are obviously overpowering the noise of the tape. So no problem there. But if there are some quiet passes of a song, sometimes I use noise reduction there. Or gate tracks out that doesn't need to be there. Any thoughts on having hearing loss and or tinnitus and being a record mix engineer? I played, recorded and mixed loud music, very similar to the stuff I hear on your channel actually. And sadly I developed some hearing loss and even some ringing noise in both ears, around 15 kHz. It doesn't stop me from playing, recording and mixing, although I'm more careful with loud noises. But I sometimes wonder what I might be missing. This is actually really interesting. I don't think hearing loss actually have to limit you or stop you from doing what you love. I heard some podcast with some guy that didn't have any hearing on one of his ears and he's doing just fine. No one's asking him if he has full stereo hearing or not. He delivers good products and so no one cares if he has full hearing or not. I think you just have to find a way to work around it. You can use meters to help you confirm what you see, also listen a lot to reference tracks and stuff like that. And I actually have a friend that are colorblind that works as a graphic designer, so that's kind of a similar problem, and he managed just fine. I would say just keep at it, and as you say, be careful in the future. I'm always careful. I always use hearing protection when I'm on live gigs and when I'm playing live shows. I don't do mixing and recording on very high volumes. I tend to keep it on moderate levels. But it's a good reminder. You should always be careful with your hearing, especially if recording and mixing is what you love to do. It's just stupid to take any unnecessary risks. How do you avoid feedback with high gain settings and the guitarist being that close to the cab? I find even with moderately high gain and the volume getting to the point where the cab is resonating in my 11 by 30 feet room, even when standing 10 feet away from the cab with guitar facing opposite direction, feedback forms rather quickly, even between chugs and whatnot. It's quite obnoxious. The pickups are not microphonic either. What gives? Are you using a gate pedal before the amp? Also, this never used to happen to me. Only recently, but my setup has not really changed. I wonder what could be causing this. Just really high gain and volume. Maybe I never went as crazy as I am now. I don't have a separate booth to put the cabs and mics, and I hate ISO cabs. Yeah, I hate ISO cabs too. I think most stuff sounds better when it has room to breathe in a bigger room. But I mean, we did get feedback. Watch the video again and you see the really, when we put in the high gain pedal, it's a lot of feedback. And other than that, we don't use that much high gain. It's just high volume, but it's not like really super high gain. It's more like rock and roll distortion overdrive. But we do get feedback, but I kind of like it. Not maybe, as you said, in between chugs and stuff. Not that we play that kind of music, but that would be a problem, of course. But what you can do is you can get some sort of, I'm not sure exactly what the name is, but some sort of hot plate that you can put between your amp head and the cab that actually lowers the signal. So you can still crank the amp to where it sounds great, but don't get as much power out of your cab. So that's one way to go about it. Other than that, you can put up some gobos or walls between you and the amp and try that, so you don't have direct eyesight, besides from standing in opposite direction, as you said. Otherwise, I think working with really high gain and that kind of music that you describe, I think a gate pedal is usually necessary. Yeah, maybe you should try that. See if you can borrow a gate or something and try it out and see if it helps. Is there a way to make a ribbon mic for just plugging into a computer? That's a really good question. I mean, you could probably do it if you build in some sort of amplifier into the microphone, like an active ribbon microphone. Other than that, I don't think it's really doable. Like, you could do it, but the sound will not be good and you will get tons of noise because a ribbon microphone really needs a lot of clean gain from the microphone preamp to be able to deliver quality signal. So just a built-in computer sound card, that won't do it. Not by any chance. You need some sort of microphone amplifier between the microphone and your computer if you're gonna use the computer sound card. But I would suggest buying a cheap audio interface that are supposed to be used for recording. That way, I think the gain in one of those should be enough to drive a modern ribbon mic with modern magnets in them. Thanks for your help. I like your cheap drums. Where do you connect the pieces to? I just connect them to the microphone inputs of my audio interface. In my case, I put them into my recording console, but if you have an interface, just plug them into the microphone inputs. So you need one input per piezo element, of course. Yeah, so that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching, and leave your questions in the comment section. And I will try to answer them both in the comment sections and maybe in the next Q&A video, depending on when and if whatever I tend to do with the questions. And also feel free to visit my webpage at HoboRec.com if you want to check out some of my work and maybe you want to work with me on mixing or mastering or something like that. So yeah, see you again next week. Bye bye. Cheers.